So welcome back everybody. On last week's video we had a really nice sweet gum log on the mill. This is actually another log off of that same exact tree, and I was just so impressed with how that log looked with the grain in it. It turned out to be really beautiful. I figured we'd do a dedicated video of another section of that same tree, and hopefully we'll get similar results. Now, I've had several pine logs on the mill since that, and man, I'll tell you, I am very impressed with this mill. The log handling is much easier. Things are easier to flip over. The power, it's got plenty of power. Everything is set up much more conveniently. The power feed option, man, I cannot tell you how convenient that power feed option is. It really frees me up to be doing other stuff, and it doesn't take nearly as much energy to deal with. Now, as you can see behind me, the old mill is still here, the old LT10. The gentleman has actually paid for it, and it is actually sold. I know I had several people asking if they could buy my old mill, and I would certainly say yes, but I'm just waiting for them to come pick it up at this point. You might have noticed I was experimenting with using my box blade as a log skidder, and I'll have to tell you, it did not work very well at all. I couldn't lift the logs up far enough, and therefore I got tons of dirt on this log. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this old blade, which is pretty much dull, to get the slabs off of it. Then we'll change the blade, and we'll let the old blade take all the dirt abuse. So let's go ahead and get started and get this log cut up and see what it looks like on the inside. You're good help, Cricket. You are good help. You help me change the blade? Let's change the blade. Come on. Now let's get down to business. Oops. So we're gonna wait for that wheel to calm down, but what just happened, I wasn't paying attention, of course, and my clamp was still up. And the machine right here hit the clamp and stopped, and it all would have been fine if I had not tried to back out of the cut, which I did. And when I did that, it appears, I wouldn't think the blade broke from that. No, the blade didn't break. But I certainly should not have lifted the head out of the cut. Well, let's see if we can get this fixed and get back to cutting. Alright, so I got it back together, and the more I think about it, I'm not sure what I was thinking by lifting the head up. The blade's in there, and I don't know what I was thinking. So what I'm going to do now is I can't close this door right here with the head in the position that it's in, because it hits this roller box right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, start the machine, get the blade going, and finish this last cut. Then I'll be able to lift the head. I'm just going to leave this open. So let's go ahead and do that, and I think that'll solve my problems. So guys, that's all I've got for today's video. Despite my best efforts to destroy the mill, we got some pretty good lumber out of that. Now, what's interesting about this log is I noticed the very base of that log, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but if I remember correctly, the very bottom section didn't have a ton of this real dark stuff like this. The next section was pretty much all dark stuff, and now once we're getting into this topmost section, or upper section rather, it's starting to fade out. As you can see, towards the top of some of these boards, they are starting to get light again. So it seems that just in the middle of the tree is where this dark stuff is showing up, which I think is really interesting. But There's obviously, as you saw, there's still a pretty big learning curve that I've got to overcome on this machine. It's just a little more complicated than the last one, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. There's just more bells and whistles, stuff I've got to get used to, but overall I still really like it. It's much more capable, it's much more powerful. I've just got to figure out what speeds are appropriate, head speed, to go through particular species of lumber. And there's just a lot of things I got to figure out. I still am not still not sure why I decided to raise the head. I knew better than that, because I knew that that blade was still stuck in the cut, and I don't know what I thought I was going to accomplish by doing that. But anyway, we all make mistakes, it happens, and I just happened to do one on camera today. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I will see y'all next time, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and that's all I got. See y'all next time.